I told you I'm so proud to be a Democrat, and the next person we have has made all of us in South Bend proud. When I first met Pete Buttigieg, I'm like, you're running for treasurer statewide? Are you out of high school yet? But you know, that was me judging a book by its cover. But you talk to the man for 5 minutes, and you know that he is the real deal. And if you saw Senator Harris in the debate, I'm not going to take anything away from her. She did a great job. But we all know that Mayor Pete played Mike Pence. And I was texting Mayor Pete about what that was like.
Everybody gathered with the St. Joe.
And Mayor Pete, you know, he enjoyed it. He enjoyed kind of playing the devil's advocate. But what a historic run to the White House. What a historic run to make everyone in South Bend proud. And such a key role in the Biden campaign. Such a key role, and he will have such a key role in that administration. And I dare say, someday we will have a presidential library for Pete Buttigieg here in South Bend. And I'll feel bad for ever calling him Mayor Doogie after Doogie Howser. As you know, Mayor Pete is taking a huge role in the campaign. And I mentioned my tween-age daughter. I guess Mayor Pete is now known as Slayer Pete on Twitter. According to my 12-year-old, that's pretty cool, and that's pretty good. And he's like in the top 10 of Twitter. He's done so much for South Bend. He's done so much for our community. He's been an inspiration to so many, both he and our future first spouse, Chasten. Because of Pete's commitment to the Biden campaign, and because this is such an important fight for the soul of our country, Pete couldn't be with us here tonight. But he has a message for us, for all of us Democrats, and I think this is going to be a great way to almost end the night. Mayor and future President Pete.
Hello to everybody gathered with the St. Joe County Democratic Party today. I am prouder than ever to be a Democrat, and to be a Democrat from St. Joe County, where we have lived so many of the things that people talk about on television in the political process. And it's never been more important for all of us to be doing everything that we can in order to deliver victories for Democrats up and down the ballot. I'm so excited to support the work that you've been doing this cycle, that you're going to continue to be doing these final weeks as we're getting ready for the run-up to November 3rd, and recognizing that this isn't just an election day coming up, it's a voting season going on right now. Hopefully you've already had a chance to vote early. I'm planning on doing it with Chasten and my mom this week. And no matter whether you're voting on election day or early, we've got to make sure that everybody gets that opportunity. We know this is such an important moment in the life of our country. And we don't have a moment to lose or to waste to make sure that Democrats are winning. And it's not just at the top of the ticket. You know how passionate I am about making sure we take back the White House, and how proud I have been to team up with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to make sure that happens. But we've got to make sure that we're winning and getting great candidates in up and down the ballot as well. And I know from my very early days getting involved, all the way through today, just how well served we are by the sense of common purpose and the energy that we have. I'm really proud to be supporting so many great Hoosiers running up and down the ticket this year. Including, but non-limited to, Dr. Woody Myers running for governor and Jonathan Weinzapple for attorney general. And I'm so excited about replacing Jackie Walorski right here in Indiana's 2nd District with Pat Hackett. And finally having common sense representing us in our House seat. I've always said there's no such thing as a permanently red state or district. And our part of the country has a way of proving that. So as you know, I like going anywhere that we can find people, including Fox News, if necessary, to talk about what's at stake. And that's something that is a habit that I cultivated right here in South Bend and St. Joe County, recognizing that on the issues that we really care about, most people are with us. Right now, on everything from expanding healthcare to tackling climate change, we're in agreement with the majority of Americans who know we've got to do something. We know that this year has been unprecedented, it's been challenging, it's been painful for all of us in so many ways. It has brought one devastating blow after another, and it's upended every part of our lives. But right now, we're at our moment of maximum power as citizens. And the way I see it, this year, the story of this year in 2020 is not yet fully written. We get to write what might be the most important chapter in the story of 2020 together. That's what we're doing. Just as right here in South Bend, we made a decision to change our trajectory and give ourselves a better story. That's something we have a chance to do nationally, and St. Joe County is a big part of it. Look, the stakes couldn't be higher. We know what we're up against. But as we're talking with family and friends who are still making up their minds, or thinking about people wavering on whether to vote at all, we got a chance right now to remind them not only what we're up against, but what we're for. We are for returning competence and decency and empathy to the Oval Office. We are for raising wages for hardworking Americans, making sure everyone can get health care, lowering the cost of prescription drugs. We've got a chance right now, and it might be our last good chance, to stop the worst effects of climate change before it's too late. We've got a chance right now to enact common sense gun laws that keep kids safe at school. We've got a chance right now to finally fully act and do something to tackle systemic racism until our country really lives up to the truth that Black Lives Matter. We've got a chance to send a message about what we expect from nominees to the judiciary and to the Supreme Court. I believe it's precisely because of what we've been through, because of the chaos and the cruelty that have marked these years, that 2020 could be remembered actually as a turning point, as the moment we decided to turn towards something different and something better. But that's up to us. We know that voting is different this year. Like I said, it's more like a voting season than an election day. Millions have already cast their ballots. And we've got to encourage every Hoosier to take advantage of voting by mail if they do meet those requirements. Or, like Chasten and me and so many others, safely voting early. And no matter what, one way or the other, getting that vote cast. I want to say just how grateful I am for your efforts, too. Getting involved in politics at any level is an act of hope. And with everything that's going on from here in my hometown, I draw so much hope about what we can do to move our country in the right direction. Everything we care about, especially around here, is on the line this year. And if we do this work, we have a chance to, as the Vice President likes to say, restore the soul of this nation. And that gives us an opportunity to come together and launch the era that is waiting for us after the cruelty and the chaos we're leaving behind. That's something I think people around here understand deeply. And it's what's at stake in the organizing that we're doing, even as we learn new ways to do it. So a lot of questions were sent in, and I appreciate the opportunity to do a bit of a Q&A as well. And the first one was, what was the most inspiring thing you encountered on the campaign trail? So a lot like running for mayor here in South Bend, the really moving thing about the campaign trail, when you're running for president too, is that people come up to talk to you about the most important thing in their lives that's being affected by politics. And as I traveled the country, it reminded me of that part of campaigning right here at home too. But it was everything. It was parents worried about a kid in the military and what was going on with our commander-in-chief. It was people who were worried about healthcare and wanted answers on how we could secure it. Probably many of the most inspiring voices I met were not even old enough to vote. A 13-year-old asking me what we were going to do about gun safety to make sure that his school was safe. A young woman who had struggled with coming out and wanted to know what it would take for this to be a country and to fill our communities with a sense of belonging. And every time there was a chance to look someone in the eye and offer them ideas about how we could build a future where they belong, it always filled me with energy and reminded me what this was all about. Another question that came in was, how did people outside of South Bend respond to the success story of our town? So as you know, a lot of people have a lot of different ideas of South Bend. I think folks picture a certain kind of city if they've never actually been here and don't know how complex and socially and culturally rich and diverse our city is, and also how much we've been through and how much we've been up against economically. And so I always found I was spending a lot of time educating people on our story. But the other thing I found is that our story, the story of South Bend and the area around South Bend, is America's story. How a community gets on its feet. How a community can make room for everybody. How a community struggles with some of the toughest issues that our country is facing, from racial injustice to recovering from economic blows and devastation. And the ways that we've dealt that, not because it was perfect, but because we came together and advanced. And I know that's continuing to happen with so many of the great candidates who you are gathered to support right now. Another question that came in was that we lost a great Hoosier and American in Governor Joe Kernan this year. And what's your favorite story? So I'm really moved by the memory of Governor Kernan at a time like this. And I know so many of us are thinking about what he meant to us and how proud South Bend was of his leadership. And his loss is one we're really all feeling. You know, one of the things I remember about him is just how competitive he was. And if you ever knew him, you'll remember this. And I'll just give you one example. We had an event during the South Bend 150th anniversary celebrations where all 5 former mayors came together. And we all spoke. We had an event, I think it was right at the Century Center, actually. And then afterwards, we wanted to keep the conversation going, so we went out to Rocco's for some pizza. And the conversation turned to Chasten was kind of new on the scene. We'd just begun dating. And the conversation turned to cherry pit spitting in the part of Michigan he's from, where they grow a lot of cherries. And as soon as he started talking about the fact that there are competitions in cherry pit spitting, Joe Kernan's ears perked up. And I drifted off to another conversation with a couple others and then turned around and didn't see them anymore. And the next thing I knew, I saw out in the parking lot my relatively new boyfriend at the time, Chasten, and the former governor of the state of Indiana were in the Rocco's parking lot overlooking downtown South Bend, seeing who could spit a cherry cough drop lozenge, which was the only thing that the governor had that resembled a cherry pit, seeing who could get it the furthest. That's how competitive he was. And I'm sure if he were here, he would want history to record that he won. Of course, he was also a mentor, a guide, and an example for so many of us. And his military service, as well as his service in office and his passion for this community, is an example that I hope generations will continue to follow. One more question. You played Mike Pence and Senator Harris's debate prep. What was that like? Did you practice with a fly on your head? So I was the last one to find out about the fly because I was in the hall and I was pretty far to the back. We were all socially distanced. And I didn't even see it until I came out and people were like, "Can you believe that fly?" I was like, what fly? So of course that was the one thing we didn't prepare for. But I'm proud that we had discussed with her and prepared for just about everything he threw her way. When I said I would do anything to help this ticket win and to support Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I didn't realize that doing anything meant spending a lot of time in the mind of Mike Pence so that I could help them prepare for the debate. But like I said, I'll do anything. And what I'll say was that it reminded me of what we all saw when he was governor here in Indiana, but also the way that we saw him betray some of his own professed values in order to become part of this ticket. And that's something really important to think about right now because, of course, so many Republicans are seeing that their values are not reflected in this president. It's why even former chairs of the RNC have decided to stand with us and endorse Joe Biden alongside independents and Democrats. And by the way, I am so thankful that moderate and very progressive Democrats have come together around the importance of winning back the White House and winning these other offices, because that unity is our power at a time like this. And of course, that spirit of unity is what motivated me to want to make sure I could do everything in my power to help Kamala Harris win that debate, as she did. And you'll continue to see me just about every day, whether it's in campaign events or virtual events, doing everything that I can. And I know you are too. So I just want to close again with a big thank you. I know we have to do it a little differently this year in a lot of different ways. But I also know how committed and how passionate we are in this community about getting good leadership, about getting the right leadership, about seeing our values expressed in the elections and the message they send and the leaders they produce. And I couldn't be prouder to call South Bend home. I couldn't be prouder to be a St. Joe County Democrat. And I couldn't be prouder or more thankful for the work that you do. So please keep at it, stay involved, stay safe, stay healthy, stay motivated. And here's to making sure we have a lot to celebrate when we get to November. Thank you.